Good morning.
Welcome everyone to our live Q&A
Oh
regarding
my gosh.
episode 4.
What a great episode. It was jam-packed. I'm so excited to just go through it all.
Yeah, I feel like it was a lot of that old school tar again, like we've been seeing with the first 3 episodes. But this episode, there was some mix-ups. There was some movement. Like it wasn't
It was a lot.
as linear as a lot of feel like the other episodes this season have been. So as crazy as the chaos has been, there's definitely been a front pack, and what Alex and Kat were describing last week on our panel recap was what they're calling the backpack.
Yeah.
That group in the back that just never really be able to seem like they could really catch up. So
Yeah.
I feel like this was
yes and no. I mean, it was the first 3 episodes. There wasn't like some equalizer, which is unfortunate for just the teams in the back. And it makes it so it's not as entertaining, even though this season has been fantastic. But with this episode number 4, even though there was not an equalizer, I feel like some people still did really well and just kind of jumped forward, which is great. But let's get into it because I've got so much to share.
So much to share, right? Well, first off, the start times. Like, I just want to, again, we're going to show the details, graphics, all that stuff on our panel recap where we really tease it down. But you get Natalie and Stephanie. They started at 2:43, and Jazz and Jag were just a minute behind them, right? Or seconds behind them, really, if you think about it, because they gave that up last week. Like crazy
for her birthday. I want to be on the right. Let's just say it's my birthday. So, and then the next time it's your birthday.
Every time, right? Maybe people will give us first place.
I don't think normal racers would ever do that. So we have to race with Jag and Jazz and be like, it's my birthday.
So
Jag and Jazz.
They rip and read. They find out they're going to Hungary. Okay. Awesome. And this is the first time the Amazing Race has been back to Hungary, guys, since season 6.
Okay, I thought it was 6.
So crazy, like 32 seasons, and we have not gone back to this country.
Wild. It's beautiful. So beautiful.
Tell me.
It's on my bucket list. So right. I kind of have 2 bucket lists. I have the bucket list of in my bathing suit, the most beautiful clear water, just white sandy beaches, and just like lounging with a, virgin margarita or something in my hand. Like that is like all the places in the world that's on my bucket list. But then I also have a bucket list of places like Budapest, like to go to places that have amazing like buildings and
architecture and yes.
And art and just like all these things so I'm like, I kind of like to do both, but of course bathing suits usually the number 1 place we ended up going.
So they rip and read, they find out Budapest, Hungary, and then 15 minutes later is Tucker and Eric. An hour later is Joseph and Adam. And then it kind of just sprinkles out. Kylan and Taylor leave.
Your eyes
sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I'm on this other screen. I've got my notes.
2 screens. That's why I was like, why is it not on the main screen? Sorry, that was tripping me out. I was like looking at him in the thing, and he's like,
where am I looking?
Sorry.
So 4 hours later is Kylan and Taylor in 9th place from the beginners. And about hour and 20 minutes later is Kat and Alex. So there's definitely that backpack still, with the separation. But like we're talking 4.5, 5 hours,
Major.
Like still big separation,
yes.
Right? So they get trains. A group of 6 teams get on that first train that requires 3 different changeovers over the course of the night in order to get in an hour earlier. Whereas 4 teams, 1 team chose. The other 3 teams, I think, just arrived too late to be able to choose.
Yeah.
And the last couple of teams, I guess all 6 of those teams could have chosen. So I guess the first hot take that we want to go over is which train are we on and why?
To me,
what do you guys
think? To me, this is
sharing our hot take. What's your hot take? Which train are you guys choosing?
To me, this is an absolute no-brainer. I was like, yes, it's this. Like, it is It is a 100% and not even to think about, but it's funny because most people are gonna disagree with me, especially Justin. I kept thinking of Justin. I'm like, "Justin is so hardcore." He is choosing the 3 stops to get there barely an hour early, and I'm thinking, that is literally the craziest thing I could ever think of. I would never do that in a million years. I don't care if it was 2 hours. You get to sleep all night long. Again,
Sleeper train.
the 2 things I love most in the world, of course, besides my family, is sleeping and eating. I have to sleep. I would not be able to function. I mean, you couldn't tell the racers that did it, like, you couldn't tell. They weren't slow. They were just maybe their mind wasn't as focused, but they did. Me, I'm old, I'm 50. I can't do that. I have to sleep no matter what, even if they're like, "Here's your option. Is there any other option?" Like, I would have asked, like, "Oh, there is 1 hour." Like, I'm like, "Okay, I'll take that." Even if everyone got on the earlier, I still would've been like, "I'll take that one because I can sleep." I know. Everyone's gonna be like, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." But I'm like, for me to survive, I would have to have done that.
And
100%.
for context, let's rewind to season 37, episode 2. We're in the scramble. We're in the airport in Hong Kong trying to get to Japan. We're trying to get on the same flight as everyone else is getting on for that second flight, right? That first flight is doing a whole changeover in Taipei. We're not doing that. We're doing the direct flight to Japan, but there's a flight that's going to get in an hour and a half earlier. It's full, but Jeff is saying, like, we're getting on this flight. Don't leave. If I get on this flight, I'm getting you guys on this flight. What did we do, honey?
We left so I could sleep. And maybe in that instance, we should have stayed a little bit longer because I didn't get to sleep until I got on the plane, and it was still like 2 hours or something that I just tried to sleep in the airport, which wasn't great because remember the yelling was going on.
Yeah.
And that whole thing. So it wasn't like I got like a good night's sleep. So maybe we should have waited a little bit longer. But again, it's different on this train of going all the way through the night, stopping 3 times, and you saw them every time they got off, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so hard." And the other team was like they were out. They were sleeping comfy. Heaven to me. And being on the train and that little bounce, oh, good night. That would be the best sleep of my life. I would love that.
So I agree, Jennifer. I think the switching all night definitely looked exhausting. I think,
Yes.
having to, get up from maybe you were sleeping for a minute,
Yeah.
get off the train. Who knows how long you're outside in the cold waiting for the next train. So you're certainly not sleeping at that point. Getting on the next train, and you had to do that 3 different times.
Yeah,
over the course of that stretch.
and maybe it's something so
advantage.
much easier for, a 20 to 30-year-old to do. And hi, Dom, to do that. I mean, I'm 50, I have 8 kids. Like I have to get up early with them. I have to stay up late with them. Like I'm just like exhausted just thinking about that train ride. So I guess it's like different per person, per life situation. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I 100% wouldn't do it.
So they get off the train in Prague. They're heading to the bathhouse, and that's when they get their first active road or not roadblock, active route info. Right. So active route info, just for those that don't understand the difference in Amazing Race, active route info is where you have to do something together as a team to get the next clue. It's not just a rip and read and now you know where you're next going. That's route info. But active route info, there's a task that has to be done. Yeah. This task was they had to search for a king in the bathhouse.
Well, this one seemed a little silly because it takes so long to go to the dressing room, change all your clothes, change the mic. Like you don't understand how long just changing the mic, getting in your bathing suit, going out there. And you saw like 2 or 3 and it was just like that one guy and then changing back. Like I was just like, I probably would have just stood on the stairs and let Scott go out and got wet.
If 20-foot rule wasn't a rule, Lori would have been like, "Hey,
I'd be like, honey, all right there, get that guy right there. Okay, let's go back." Because I'm like, now I have to dry off. Now I have to put all the clothes on.
Hassle.
I wish they could do something more in the bath. Like I wish that was something a little bit longer to do because it takes so long to change your clothes and change your mic. But anyways, it was still beautiful and really cool to see that. But I'm just like, that's all they had to do is grab the little thing.
Yeah.
And I wanted more.
My hack on this one, because the groups arrived so clumped together, it was easy to see when another group was heading back from somewhere in the bathhouse. Well, that's obviously where we need to go to get it. So my little tweak on this task would have been, let one board, one clue. And then there's many different, so we have 10 teams arriving. There's 10 different boards, and maybe there's 20 or 25 different boards that you can get the one clue from, but the same guy giving out the same clue.
All the clues, yeah.
That was repetitive. Like, for me, that felt redundant.
That's why I would have stayed on the step, because I would have seen that and been like, just go right there, Scott. Yeah, and then stayed on the step, and then I wouldn't have to take the time to dry off. I'm lazy, you guys.
One thing I did love was you didn't get the clue right away.
I did like that too.
You got a piece. There was no clue.
And everyone like flipped it over right away. They're like, what's on the bottom? There's nothing on the bottom. There's got to be something. And then they were like, what is it? You got there's always a reason. Amazing Race is so smart with that. There's always, the details are very important. And of course, some people got it right away. Others took a little bit of time, but then twisting it and then opening it, I thought that was very cool. Love that.
And you saw some gamemanship. You saw, I think it was Tucker and Eric, they figured out right away. And
just
Joe's
didn't tell.
And other people were like, hey, what did you have to do? And they're like, and they just ran off, like not sharing, not helping. Like, you start paying attention to that kind of stuff. But like, maybe they had to take the king and turn it into a king. Like, you automatically, you're in your race brain, you start going through all these different combinations of like, what do I have to do with this king to now get the clue? Because you're expecting a clue to like rip and read. Not this time. Turn the twist, open. That's when we need to go to.
And it's funny because right now I'm rewatching season 20. I think Dom here actually told me to watch season 20. And it's like a Snapple bottle. And everyone's like, what do we do with the Snapple bottle? And then it's the lid. You open up the lid and it's on the inside lid. There's always something. I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah, it was a fun twist. And you see all the different other teams, like, Natalie and Stephanie, they're like asking the workers, like, what do I do with this king?
They're trying to turn it in.
Yeah.
But I do wish there was like even like 3 or 4 people that had 2 or 3 pieces each. And then they're like, oh, I'm out or whatever. And then they had like go around the bath to find more. Like just the one guy, like everyone saw the one guy going, too easy.
All right, these Hungarian names of these places are just insane.
Oh my god!
Like, this was called Varosligeti Mujic Blala. I totally slaughtered that.
Something.
Luckily, I don't think there's any Hungarians that follow our podcast. But that's where they need to go. But this is where I felt like for the first time we started seeing an interesting element of the race, and that's people struggling to get taxis. So I do want to talk for a few minutes about the whole taxi thing. We struggled with a couple of different taxis when we were there. In fact, we were in the same predicament that even in Hong Kong.
Well, you were said like we struggled.
Oh, we
were in Budapest, but I'm no. When we were on the race, I'm just trying to clarify.
So we ran into the same struggle that Jasmine and Courtney ran into getting off that ferry, and we couldn't catch the taxis. They didn't focus on our struggle nearly as much as they focused on Courtney and Jasmine, and they really made it out to be kind of maybe more of a race thing. And I don't think it was. In that situation, we were at the wrong pickup stop. For where we were trying to go, there was a whole different taxi area or zone that you had to get taxis from.
We actually got off the ferry first, you guys, like we were first off the ferry, like hello. And so we were right there, and then no. And everybody but us and Jasmine and her partner got on taxi. We got on in a taxi a couple, not even a minute or 2 before they did. And how it was edited, it looked like it was just them. And we were standing right next to them like the whole time or running up and down that area. And they didn't really show that. So sometimes you think maybe it's like the pickup area. But this was, I don't know.
This season is rougher.
And maybe this is just, I feel like you and I agree with this though, Scott. So I feel like it's just kind of like our take of our take. I'll just say it's my take of what happened. I absolutely know it was not CBS or Amazing Race whatsoever. But when you see Jag and Jazz throughout the episode struggling, and then even they said we put our hoods up of our jackets, and then we finally got a taxi. I was just like, oh, that hurt my heart. Like I'm like, that still happens. Like that's crazy. Of course it does. But then there was
and with Joseph and Adam with the Palestinian thing, with them wearing their cloth,
had issues getting it, and them being darker skin. Now it wasn't 100% because
I think Jack and Chelsea did okay with taxis. I don't know.
The father daughter did okay. Chelsea and her dad did okay.
Yep.
But again, it was just like not everyone's gonna be perfect and, like, love everybody, obviously, but I felt like out of all the places it's been Amazing Race has been, especially the last few seasons, this seemed like it was racial.
Intentional.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just like,
absolutely.
"Oh."
I'm gonna say it. It was racist. It was when you get people refusing to pick you up unless you jump in front of their taxis. Like I read on Chat BCC,
Yeah.
Joseph was saying like he finally was able to get some of the taxis to stop because he like stepped in front of them. And like I was reading from actually Jack and Chelsea were struggling because Chelsea said that production kept yelling at Jack because he was running out into the street trying to get taxis to stop
Oh
for
my
them.
gosh.
So it was apparently Hungary is a pretty racist place, I guess. I don't know. But
Ugh.
it's sad. And then so not only not stopping, I guess, to pick you up, but then taking you to the wrong place, like the
That
back
seemed
side
intentional.
of the location where you're supposed to go. Like everyone
Oh,
goes to the main
no.
entrances when you drop off people. So dropping people off in the back, I mean, that happened with Kylan and Taylor. That happened on so many different teams, right? And
But
then
so many different teams that are not white people. You need
right,
to make that clear. Like, none
agree.
of the white teams got dropped off in the wrong spot, and again, it could be a fluke, but it seemed
Frustrating.
ugh. But again, and maybe they edit some of this, and I'm just gonna focus on Jag and Jazz because they kind of focused on them
Yeah, they
specifically.
talked about it.
They weren't like, "These stupid people, they never were mad. They never
Right.
raised their voices." I mean, they're probably got their feelings hurt. They're probably used to it, unfortunately, but they could have been pissed, and we would have agreed with them. Like, they could have been like, "What the heck, Hungry? Like, I'm never gonna come back here. Like, why are you guys like." They never were negative or snarky or rude back to anybody about it. Even explaining it to the camera, they could have been like, "That is so messed up." They never said anything rude or negative. They just said, "We decided not to
Yep.
take the taxis. We decided to take a longer route, taking the trains and taking the subway,
Taking the metro, taking the
metro,
buses. Yep.
just so they could get there and not have that issue." And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, that's pretty impressive." It
Yeah,
tells you the caliber of the kind of people that are on this season of The Amazing Race.
well, and I feel again, you're trusting your strengths here, right? They trusted their ability to run
Yeah,
from any given bus stop or metro station to where they needed to go a lot better than trusting the taxi system to do for them what they would expect that it should do.
yeah,
And so that was smart of them. So, all right.
yeah,
I think we
yeah.
hit that
Moving on.
enough. I'm sure we'll break into it a little bit more in our recap later, but let's talk about they get to the next spot. They rip and read, and they're given a fast forward opportunity.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
Tucker and Eric got there first, and they went. No, sorry, Jazz and Jag I think got there first, and they just took off. They
'Cause they
didn't
didn't want that
bother.
target on their back.
No,
Yeah.
they didn't want it. They're like, we're in first. Why do we need a fast forward to get more in first?
Wait,
Like,
they did the horses. You missed the horses.
no, I haven't. We haven't done that yet.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
I know. That's
I
what
was
was so
like, "Wait a
weird.
minute."
So Eric and Tucker get their second. They decide to do the fast forward, which we'll talk about in a second, but not a single other team even
Wild.
tried it.
You guys, come
Now,
on.
I get if you're already in the front of the pack and not knowing how hard a fast forward might be,
But it said
you
it's a
lose
Rubik's Cube.
time. Yeah, but you lose time.
Okay, I remember what's the deaf dad with the hearing son? What's
Oh,
Rob,
Corey and Rob.
Corey and Rob.
Rob.
Remember on their season when they ran up that thing, two other teams start running there like, they didn't know, they couldn't see the ending. Both of the teams could have beaten them.
Right.
Excuse me. I was like, you're not, I mean, the building was right there. Like it was right there. You could have looked and been like, I think there was an opportunity for a team to beat them. Like
Right.
it took them a few minutes. It would have taken anybody a few minutes. But again, all the directions were right there.
But you don't know until you go inside.
But again,
I know.
I
Okay,
was
so
blown away.
at first, when we're watching this, Lori was like, "Oh, we have to solve a Rubik's Cube. There's no way. Like, we should just go." And if we're in the front of the pack, we're probably not even looking. However, as we saw the fact that the steps were written out for them,
So easy.
Lori and I, our hot take here is if it's close, meaning right around the corner or in the same building where you just ripped and read, at least go look at the challenge. The time achieved from exploring the challenge a little bit further versus the time lost could be monumental. Like Lori and I probably could have done those 8 steps in 7.5 seconds pretty easily after a couple of times practicing. So
We have
not
a
even
lot of
looking at
Rubik's Cubes in our house.
Yes.
Our
Our
kids have been
boys solve
playing with
Rubik's
that.
Cube.
Scott could have figured that out a lot faster. It would have taken me a little bit longer. And I don't know exactly how long it took Tucker and his
Yeah, we don't
brother,
know how many
but
attempts.
I'm like, we could have gotten it probably within 10 minutes or something of just practicing. Again, if they handed you a Scrabble and they're like, here you go, I've been like, peace out. That's too hard. But it was legit the same mess up, but it was like two,
Like,
two, two. There was 6 steps. There
yeah.
was 6 steps. Sorry, there's a 6 in sign language. There were 6 steps, and there was 2 turns on each step. I'm just like, 2, 2, 2.
Yeah.
Come on. You got to try it. If it's that close, you got to try it.
Well, and I feel like they were handing you brand new Rubik's Cubes each time. So it's like,
they had a plethora.
Repetition, yes. Like memory is going to serve you there. You're going to get the mechanics down where 7.5 seconds is achievable, right?
Yeah. They got it in what? I feel like they got it
6.8, one
something.
of them.
Yeah, they did
like,
great.
Yeah.
They did great.
Yeah, yes. I agree. You didn't have to figure it out on your own. If you had to figure it out on your own, this is impossible. This would have been like the ninja task, where there was no way anyone was doing that in our season.
Well, in the episode, like before we watched the show, like last week when they showed it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Because again, you're thinking it's like totally messed up. And you're like, here, fix it. I can't do that. Like that is my kids like would watch videos and learn how to do it. And they know how to do that. But I'm like, I wouldn't be able to do that. But this was different. This was just 6 basic steps. It was much easier than it should have been, but only one team figured it out. That's crazy.
Yep. Good for them. Good for Tucker and Eric. So from here, they rip and read a new clue if they chose not to do the fast forward. And that's where they're going to travel to Ludovica Husar Lavarda. That was the carriage place, right? The horses. Yeah. So they get there, they rip and read the clue. It's a roadblock. The roadblock says, who thinks they can coach? Now, I understand what Alex and Kat thought. The reason they chose Alex was because they thought it was something sports related. I don't know. It didn't look like an arena to me. It seemed horsey from the front, didn't it? I don't know. Like, what were you thinking when you read who you think or who thinks?
I don't know. They showed the horse too fast, and so I'm like, I'm doing that. Like when we watch it right away, I'm like, I'm doing it. Then in the middle of it, I'm like, oh crap, I shouldn't have chosen this one. You do this one. Or, sometimes like last week, I thought it would, what was the other one? I can't even remember now. I'm watching so many episodes, like old seasons and this season. What was
the roadblock was the bottling of the beer. And the other thing was the hockey.
The ones that we get to choose, and I right away was like, oh, we need to do this, and then halfway through I'm like, oh no, we should have chosen the other one. Anyway, sorry.
Sometimes it was the bottling of the beer. You were going to do it right away because it was easier, but then the idea of having the alcohol on you all day was...
No, I'm talking about the challenge that we do together when we choose one or the other.
Detour. Yeah. We're not to that yet.
No.
From last week. Never mind.
Yes, Scott. I'm talking about last week when we were watching it. I was like, we definitely do this one. And halfway through it, I'm like, we should have done the other one. That's what I was saying. Sometimes I'm like, I'm doing it. And then I'm like, oh, shoot, I shouldn't have done it. Anyways. Yeah. Yes, I said right away, do the horse. But I saw the horse. I didn't really get to think about what the coaching meant. But yes, I chose the horse. I think I would have been great with the horse. I'm great with animals. I'm not nervous or scared. No. And if you noticed, the guy in the back,
I was wondering about the guy in the back.
A lot to do with what was happening, I thought.
Well, I'm curious if there's any racers in the chat. I know we got 11 people here now. Sometimes some of the racers will pop in and tell us. I'm curious if anyone who did the challenge, I'm sure we'll be able to hear this from our guests when we do our recap, but I wonder if they felt any assistance from the guy in the back. I know that
they're definitely there for emergencies.
I feel like safety.
Yes, right? For safety for sure. Yeah. But again, sometimes I could see their arms moving when they were turning that figure 8 through the course. And I'm like,
yeah, so they have to steer the horse-drawn carriage through this figure 8 course in 45 seconds, right? Like,
oh, what was the one that ended like 2 feet?
Was that Simone? I feel
and they just stopped, and the horse just stopped. They would have had plenty, and the horse just stopped. And I was like, oh.
And then they failed because the horses stopped for some random reason.
I thought the most entertaining was Joseph, who was just
stiff.
Just so worried. And I'm like, but they said don't yell. So when everyone is like yelling, you got this, I was like, shoot, I'm supposed to like, don't spook the horses. Like you're just supposed to like just calmly, smoothly go through it.
So from there, they were racing to go to the house of Houdini. I thought that was super fun. I love
so
the
cool.
fact that there's cultural connections, but things that connect us to stuff we know,
Yes.
So Houdini,
Yes,
magician,
love
I
it.
don't know who doesn't know who Houdini is, right? But he was all about escape, trying to get out of stuff. And so the whole idea that we were trying to get into something
Yeah.
that he would have been trying to get out
It
of.
seemed a little easy, the box to
Well,
open.
apparently it's only easy if you
If your
don't break
key
your key.
or the key doesn't get broke, I'm like, that's a thing. Like,
Uh,
couldn't they just hand him another box? Like, I thought for them, they're just like sitting there, like, and I'm like, we couldn't have, you don't have enough, like, that's not their fault. Like, you couldn't have just handed them another box. They literally
well, it
had to
was
take.
their fault though. They broke the key. Everyone's given the exact same stuff. No other teams broke their key. So Joseph,
Well, it
like,
couldn't have been the key. Like, couldn't have been just a faulty something. Like, it had to
could
be
have
their
been,
fault.
could have been.
I don't
So
know. I thought
yeah,
that
the
was
fact
kind
that
of
they
weird.
had to replace the lock and then give them the key that would work on the new lock
That's why I'm like,
seemed
can you just give him a new
a
box?
little.
Anyways, it
Yeah,
was weird.
this
I
this felt
know.
like Joseph and Adam's struggle episode. Like Joseph and Adam have done so well, and they've been so helpful to so many teams up until this point, helping others get on trains, helping with directions, all
Yeah.
this fun stuff. So to see them struggling as hard as they did, like
Well,
literally sitting there watching
yeah.
Kylan and Taylor solve it, and you still can't do the stupid active route info because your key broke, like
Well, the cutest part of the whole episode is when Adam is like, "Oh, Taylor gets here." This is back to the horses. And now
oh yeah,
Joseph, like,
magically
miraculously
knows
just
how to
does it so
drive.
well. Like, I think it wasn't that, it was just that he was finally getting it, but it was so cute. But again,
Your girlfriend's watching. This is
yeah,
a classic brother move. Our boys do this
totally.
to each other
But
all the
even
time.
Taylor laughed.
Giving
Like,
people
that's
crap.
what's so great about this group, even though there was tons of people that had dated, were dating, whatever, like, they were still all cool together. They're all still friends,
Yeah,
and Kylan isn't jealous. Like, Taylor was like, "Oh, don't," like, she laughed. She thought that was like, I love that
yeah,
everyone can still be friendly, even though people date and there's history between some of the couples. Like, I still, again, such an amazing cast. I love this season.
love
It's
it.
awesome.
So back to the Houdini thing. What would Houdini do? That was the episode title. That was said by Stephanie.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, one of the sisters. So congratulations on getting your episode title. But I thought it was pretty obvious the clue was going to be in the bottom of the box. I felt like you said, I think this is kind of an easy thing, but still fun. It's cute. Connection to Houdini, connection to Hungry, like fun. So from there, they've got a race on, and this is the detour. So now they've got to choose between the two tasks. Do they want a juggling act or a balancing act?
We choose juggling.
100%.
We choose juggling, but when they showed some
Well,
dances,
first off, comment in the chat which one you guys would choose. I'm just curious.
some dances of the Amazing Race, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? That is like 5, 6, 7, 8, da 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 da. And I'm like, how can anyone get this dance? Now that dance seemed really, really simple. Again, I'm not there. This is just, what I can see from TV. The girls like just go, tap with her foot and like walk around with her hands up. And then the boy had a little, or the second dancer with the stick had a little bit separate dance, and they come together. And I'm like, that was it. Like, that was easy. Even though we would have chosen.
The challenge wasn't about dancing. The challenge was about the balancing element, right? That was a balancing act. So I do think balancing would have been enough for us not to choose this, because we've watched previous seasons with the whole balancing thing, and it's hard. Like balancing bottles, super hard, like Will and James did in their season. They actually, what was interesting, what did they tell you about?
Oh my gosh. No, in their episode of what was the season again? I can't remember.
Season 32.
32, when they were on it, they had said before they were on the Amazing Race, they practiced that, and they showed them in their living room practicing standing
with
up and going down with bottles on their. So I was like, that was so cool that they practiced that challenge, and then they were able to perform it, and they killed it. And then they showed a little clip of that in last night's episode, which was really fun.
But because we've watched this since season 1, we're the OG, fans as far as this show
But
goes.
even Will and James dance was a million times harder.
Way harder
than
than
last night. Again, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of the crazy choreography with the bottle. No, thank you. We're doing
juggling.
doing juggling for sure.
So balancing is enough to dissuade us from doing anything. Anytime you have to balance something on your head, we're not taking that risk because that's an element that's too far outside of our control. We would much rather try something like juggling instead. So
I'm sure we could have done it really easily. That was an easy dance. Yeah.
Well, especially because if we chose juggling, so we did juggling. If we chose balance, who's doing the bottle? Who's doing the stick?
Well, I'm doing the bottle. I was the female and you're doing the stick. Like, that's easy. The one I thought was pretty tricky, I know, but what was really tricky was for Jazz that had because he has the turban,
he's got the turban
and his
on.
hair is in a funky bun and it's not flat. Like if you've seen it, there's like a little bulge. And he had to kind of move stuff around to put that bottle. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a whole other element that you and I or most of us aren't even thinking of. Like I probably would have like a big bun in my head, so I would just take it down so my head would be flat. So I probably would have to change like a micro, thing. But they're not taking their turn. Like it's just interesting. Like there's other elements that I never have even thought of doing. Anyways, we still would have chosen the juggling.
Juggling for sure.
The dance really easy. It was pretty easy.
I thought the way Kylan and Taylor tackled juggling is exactly how Lori and I would have done it. We would have started, and maybe it was their coach. I don't know whether Joseph and Adam intentionally went right to 5, or if their coach had them try it that way, but the other coach had Kylan and Taylor do it differently. I'm curious. I'm hoping to get answers from them. But we would have started with just, all right, toss one to each other. All right, let's add a third one in. Okay, we got that down. Let's add
1 to 3. We probably would have added 2 and then gone on. We would have nailed it. I mean, go until we nailed 2.
It's just a routine.
And then go and add 3. Now, this challenge, I think obviously would have taken some time, but we would have done exactly what Kylan and Taylor did. I just kind of combined their names. Sorry.
Taylor.
And we would have done that, but I would have definitely dropped some swears on that because you are like still trying to like. Did you just say? Did you just say?
I said shiz. I said shiz. No.
Shiz. Okay.
Shiz.
I would have said the wrong thing. Because like you're going and you're trying to, and especially another team is there. I definitely would have sworn a little bit on that one. But this is the only challenge so far out of the whole season. I would have been a little frustrated, and gotten mad at Scott and probably would have sworn. But I feel like if you take it slow, you do the 2. Okay, we got it. That's at a third. And then once we feel comfortable, then we add. I feel like Adam and Joseph just kind of like, let's do 5. Like, wow. They were like maniacs. But this is something I've never seen on the.
Pause on that.
Okay, I'm like, I feel like I even recorded it because I was so blown away at this.
So, one thing I did read from Taylor in Chat BCC was after 3 attempts, the instruction said you had to leave the ring and go back to practice because other people are queuing up for that spot. Now, there was only 2 teams that chose juggling, so it didn't end up being a huge deal, but it would have been a monumental difference if you had to leave after just 3 attempts, because Kylan and Taylor, I think, got it on their 4th attempt.
Wow.
So they would have had to go back out, and going back out have messed stuff up enough.
And it gets in your head.
It's in your head. You start questioning yourself. Would they not have gotten it on their 4th attempt if they had to leave and try again? But no one was queued up to try, so they were able to do their 4th one right away. Interesting.
This is the commercial break for Chat. What is it? I don't even follow. You do. Chat BCC. Scott always gives me all the info. I'm not very tech savvy. I don't. He fills me in. This is your
Discord.
PSA.
I love Tar
to find. I mean, we've told you 3 or 4 little spoilers just because of what the racers have said in that Chat BCC. You guys got to get on. Even though I feel like
Lori's not on.
You tell me to get on. I feel like I'm an idiot.
Testimonial from the person who doesn't do it.
Again, I get he's on and and I'm like, no way. Oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. Tell me more. So you should get on because it's awesome. Yeah. Or have your spouse get on and have them be your person, like Scott.
Tell them all the stuff.
So this is something I've never, ever seen. And if Dom is still on, he's like the OG of Tar and he knows stuff. Yep. But can you even believe this number? Can you even see it? Oh shoot, it's kind of blurry.
A little blurry. I'll tell everyone.
134 attempts.
Now, hold on. Last week in hockey, I thought 20 and 25 attempts by Joseph and Alex were records. And then I found out later, no, there was other attempts that were like in the 30s and 40s on detours or roadblocks. So
134.
134 has got
That
to be
is crazy pants. That's crazy.
Yeah, insane. I think it's
it makes me feel so much better about our coral challenge.
That's right. Coral.
At least it wasn't 134.
So now, granted, those attempts take all of like a second.
Those are just like, drop it and just go. But
and
still.
like, I'm kind of curious which production member was in charge of tallying the 134 till we got an official count. But yeah,
but again, even though, I mean, again, I feel like they did go too fast trying to figure out the 5, but they weren't like, you idiot. Like they weren't like,
they were still laughing. They were like,
okay,
fun.
Come on. Oh, dang it. Too high. Go a little bit lower. Like, and they just busted it out. Like, don't give up. Like, keep going. They did awesome. I loved watching that. Even though they struggled, this is it in sign language.
Continued, persisted.
Yep. Yes, I love it.
Well, and you see the excitement when they get it right and they're tackling the circus clown, and the circus clown is like, what's going on? Like I forgot who it was. I don't know.
Everyone came over and like, I'm just like, they want us to compete and complete it and finish it and move on. Like they're cheering us. Oh, I just love that.
So from there, let's talk about the other side of the detour. Let's talk about the balancing. Who did you think dominated the most? Who did you think did really, really well here? Who struggled?
Well, I think the dancing sisters.
So Hannah and Simone, I think, dominated.
They dominated. They
nailed it.
And
so quickly.
You can always tell a dancer by her hands. Like she would finish, and her hand was like, well, it was a
full extension, but it was
like this. But her fingers, like you can tell the dancer with the finger. And I was like, oh my, they killed it. It was easy. And again, if you got that dance background, you're choosing dance. But then I also loved, my brain is off with everyone's names. The other sisters, the taller sister.
Oh, Natalie and Stephanie.
Worn she could be like, dude, I haven't worn a dress or a skirt in 20 years. I'm not going to do this. Like, let's go to the other one. And she didn't. Like, I love seeing people do things that they're not used to, that they don't want to do, that are out of their comfort zone. And they still do it because this is part of the race. And they appreciate the aspect of the race. Like if we're in real life and she's like, I'm not wearing a dress or skirt, that's totally her prerogative. But I appreciate that she was like, oh my gosh, I literally have done this. And and it wasn't like she just like, oh, I have to do this. She embraced it. And I was like, oh, it's such good role models on this season. Like everyone is so, again, not every moment is great of every single person. They're not perfect people, but they're really showing the best of these people. Cause she could literally have been like, this is the dumbest thing. I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. And we would have been like, that's fine. Like she could have easily said that, but she was like, I'm just going to do it because, this is I'm like, I love it. I love it. Everyone, I mean, I don't think it was easy for anyone, but Simone and
Hannah and Simone, I think, had it the easiest. And I think even Christina Rubina, I think, embraced it with a lot of excitement and fun. You know, and same thing with Natalie and Stephanie. I think sisters. Maybe this is just a tribute to sisters on this episode because it seemed like the sisters, when it came to this dancing challenge, just really embraced it and killed it. I applaud Jack. You could definitely tell Jack was out of his comfort zone, but he was doing it for his little girl Chelsea and doing the best that he could, and they nailed it on like their 4th or 5th.
I was like, what did they?
Or 7th? I don't know, somewhere in the.
Okay, I thought it was like less than 5. Anyways, I thought they did great.
So, but I think apparently with Kat and Alex, I think it got in Kat's head.
Yes, because she's a dancer. She saw people coming and going, and then she got in her head. I was surprised there was only one helper of dancing. Like when we did our dance thing, we had 2 people, one helping us. So one helping me, one
helping one person, one helping the other person.
So I thought that was interesting that there was only one person. So while our dance person would be helping Scott, I'm just standing there. Like, I'm like, why isn't someone helping me? So I wish someone was there with her because
it could have gotten her out of her head.
It would have, she would have not been able to just sit there and been like, oh, while Alex was getting the help. I feel like they lost it 100% because she got in her head, because she could have easily gone. And I know that the what she said that, 5, 6, 7, the counting was off a little bit. But again, this was a very simple, easy dance. And she just got into her head, unfortunately. And what a fun team that was
I
eliminated. I
know.
love them.
I love Kat and Alex as a couple. I love Alex keeping Kat grounded, giving her an opportunity to feel her emotions, deal with her struggles, but then pumping her up. Like, we got this. Like, don't give up. In the Amazing Race, until you see Phil, the race isn't over. And you don't know. This could be a non-elimination leg. Like, you can't automatically assume that just because everyone's come and gone, that means you're done. You just can't allow that to ever enter your brain when it comes to Amazing Race. You have to stay in it. You have to stay focused. You got to keep trying. They get it. They don't get eliminated, in the dance area by Phil showing up saying, all right, you guys are done. I mean, they made it to the mat, but all right, they go to the pit stop. This is at Varkert Bazaar. Beautiful building, like such an amazing view from where they do the pit stop. But let's get to our giveaways. Let's talk about our winners, our losers. So this was surprising to me. Well, maybe not surprising. 21. So we had 38 people respond to our poll. For those who didn't vote, we had 50 something last week. So there weren't as many participants this week as last week, which is okay. But more than 50% of you thought Jazz and Jag were going to win. And maybe that's who I would have thought too, because they were dominating
yeah,
race for so long. It wasn't Jazz and Jag, right? It was Eric and Tucker. And they got it because of the fact that they had the fast forward. So it could have been anybody, at that point. So
they should go buy stock in the Rubik's Cube.
I know, right? So for this one, we are going to have these 8 responses on our winning wheel. This time I didn't have to pre-record this. I've got it set up to go live. So I'm going to add the spinning wheel to the stage, and we're going to do this. Now there are 11 entries because a couple of you got extra entries. So we're going to shuffle the names and spin the wheel to see who's winning.
I love these weird ads that are on the side. Oh, nice. Nicole
Novotny.
There we go.
Almost sounds like a Hungarian name.
We have our first Hungarian watching this show. Sorry what we said about your country.
So congratulations. You won for choosing our winner.
Nice.
Let's get back to our slides. And for our giveaway for which team will get eliminated.
This
was a popular choice, unfortunately.
See, but if there was a equalizer and then everyone in markets that go, that could have just been blown out of the, you know what I mean? I'm like, there just never was an equalizer, at least not yet. I don't know if there is or not. Maybe I think Kat and Alex say that there was later on. I can't remember what they said.
Well, no one's allowed to tell anything because that would be a spoiler. But there's got to be equalizers.
There has to be. Yeah, I'm like, I haven't heard
Race is going to have
someone
that.
Said there has to be. Yeah.
So we had 22 of you get it right, and there's 2 pages of slides that show all of that. Let me share my screen real quick here, and we'll do our pick. So 34 entries total. See who gets to win off of Kat and Alex's misfortune.
Jan barely missed it.
Mitch Mefford, congratulations.
Well done, Mitch.
You got the prize for the elimination. And then this was interesting. Who got the episode title? We already said.
They guessed that?
One person did, actually. So 28 people thought it would be Izzy and Paige. 11 people thought Joseph and Adam. 5 people said Tucker and Eric. 4 people said Hannah and Simone. But luckily, one person, Cass from Chat BCC, congratulations.
We don't even have to spin the wheel. You won.
There's no wheel associated with this one.
Oh, my gosh.
So
I guess technically they can hurry and watch the show and then vote.
It's random, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to put it up this season. Last season we only did who won the leg, who got eliminated on the leg, and we let people vote. And I just thought, this is such a landmark experience for people to be able to check the box and say, I got an episode title. It's just kind of a unique thing. So I'm like, let's throw it in, and it is random. Sometimes you can tell from it, who might be it, but sometimes you can't. So,
well, I would have voted with the majority. I would have thought it was Izzy
and Paige.
Yeah, I've said that, but so fun.
So last thing before we sign off, we're going to announce our special guest for our panel recap. So I'm excited to announce that joining us on our panel recap this next week is going to be Simone and Hannah, the sisters, the
Darling,
dancing
yep.
sisters. So we had an opportunity to be out there in LA for the premiere, as many of you know. And obviously we were going to get a quick picture with them. But they're going to be on with us for our panel recap. It is going to be a little bit later in the week that this is going to debut, because we can't actually record this until Saturday, because Hannah's a med student, super busy with, I think, like a neurosurgery rotation, like super smart.
Amazing.
So, but we're going to be able to do that. And also another special guest that we hope to be able to have on in the fan slot, Mike Bloom. I don't know if you guys
my
know
gosh.
who Mike
Huge
is.
fan of Mike Bloom.
I'm a huge fan of Mike Bloom. So he
He's
is
an
trying to make the
amazing
schedule work.
interview.
But yeah, he interviews for Parade Magazine. He does exit interviews for them. He's so dedicated to his craft. So
all the shows, all the reality shows, he interviews everybody. But just real quick about these two ladies, you never know how people are going to be in real life. And again, this whole season they're amazing people. These two ladies are like the cutest, sweetest, kind, like they are genuinely the nicest two sisters ever. Like they were just so cute and kind. We were talking to this sister first, and she was just like,
Simone, yeah,
she was like, it's always interesting because I think they're all stars, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go meet her. And she was like, Lori, like I was the star, and I'm just like, this is not computing in my head. Anyway, she was just the delight to meet, and just both of them are just the sweetest girls.
Well, and we actually got to meet Hannah first
before, yes,
back at our New York City finale when we went out. So it was great to see her again, but getting to see Simone for the first time there was just super sweet. Such a fun, tender moment. So can't wait to have them on the recap. So we hope you'll join us back here in a few days. We'll have that episode up. We're going to break it all down. I'm going to have slides, graphics, all kinds of fun things for us to really dig into this episode even more. But we appreciate all you guys joining us for our live Q&As each week. This is such a fun way just to chat about the episode, but we love you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming.